Today I'm going to share with you managing Koreans. What are the top 5 mistakes? The mistakes that you really have to avoid. What are they? Let's find out. By the way, if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Lots of great videos coming up. Don't miss out. So what are these top 5 mistakes that you need to avoid when managing Koreans? Well, first of all, let me share with you these top 5. They all come from long experience. Right? My team and I, we've been training companies here in Korea for the last 16 years, but now it's been over 150 organizations with many of the world's largest companies. So what I've seen over the years from expats happening over and over again, and literally there are hundreds of mistakes. Yeah, but these top 5, and it was really difficult to boil just to the really top 5, but these are things you absolutely must avoid. Mistake number 1 you absolutely must avoid is giving negative feedback in front of others. In front of others meaning in front of the team, in front of the company. Okay, whenever others are around, you want to give your team members some negative feedback. They don't perform well, that is okay. Yeah, but don't do it in front of others. Losing face is such a big concern for Koreans, especially when you lose face from the foreign boss, right? From your expat manager, from your manager from another country, and then in front of the rest of the Korean team. Oh my God, it's terrible. So you want to absolutely avoid that. It's an instant trust breaker with your team, instantly. Yeah, you can have one meeting, you can really give negative feedback to that one person. They will not trust you for the rest of the time that you work together with them. So really you got to follow the old advice. You want to praise in public, reprimand in private. All right, so if you want to give negative feedback, do it one-on-one. Go to an empty meeting room or ask them to come to your office and then talk about it one-on-one. Number 2, the second mistake is being an empowering or delegating leader. Yeah, this doesn't work in Korea. This has been a leadership trend over the years, but it just does not work in Korea. The better leadership style in Korea is usually the directive and the decisive leader. Because Korea is a hierarchy culture. And in a hierarchy culture, you always look to the person up of you to make the decisions, to tell you which direction you should go. So Koreans are often very concerned when foreigners come here as their managers that they just push everything onto them. And they don't know what to do. They're scared. Because a Korean manager, if they have a Korean manager, a Korean boss, and they make a mistake, they get in big trouble, right? Even if you're more open-minded and your cultural background is different, where making mistakes is okay, in Korea, that's not the case. Yeah, so for Koreans, you want to be more of the directive, the decisive leader. And by the way, this doesn't mean that you cannot empower them over time, but you got to take it step by step. You got to take it step by step. Okay. Now I've seen it over the years with several expats. They were able to do it, but they did it step by step by step. Yeah, you can't delegate everything, the big picture, the big planning to them, and then expect them to bring what you want. It creates a lot of stress for them. Yeah, so please don't do that. And also just keep in mind, right? Every organization is different. You might be watching this and this is standard in your organization. This sometimes happens in Korea as well. But for the most part, people want more of a directive and decisive leader. Number 3, not caring about your team members' personal life. Now you know this, right? In the West, most Western cultures at least, we keep it strictly separate. We got our personal life and we got our professional life, and they got nothing to do with each other. Well, they do. But nonetheless, we separate them as much as possible, as much as we can. Now in Korea, that is not the case. These two often like to overlap. They like to overlap. It has changed a little bit in recent years, but overall still, for you as the manager, it's expected that you care about your team member as a person. Okay, their whole well-being. And that includes both their professional life and their personal life. Yeah, so here it's much more common that you get to know your employees on a personal level. Yeah, from the very beginning, they might ask you very, very personal questions as well. Not to be rude, but to connect with you, to get to know you. They want to see if they can trust you, if they like you. All right? So don't be shocked by that. Just be aware that here you have to care a little bit more about their personal life. Mistake number 4, saying no too strongly. Too strongly. Now, as you know, probably, I'm German. Right? And in Germany, we have a very direct no. If something is no, logically, it's a no. If it's a no based on fact, it's a no. Nobody takes it personally. In Korea, people take it personally. In my first couple of years, I ran in a lot of trouble because I was too strong, I was too direct about the no. And a lot of expats here are as well. The Korean no is much softer. Right? Much more indirect, because Korea is an indirect culture. And what do you expect in an indirect culture? A more indirect no, because we don't want to hurt the other person's feelings. So Koreans, instead of saying a direct no to a request or a suggestion or something, they will better say like something like, well, we should think about that some more. Which drove me crazy at the beginning, right? Maybe it would be at the beginning the same thing for you, but that's the softer no. And you have to learn, and there are many multiple ways. Yeah, and when you work with your Korean team, you can just directly ask them, how in Korea do people usually say no? And there are so many different ways. All right, but learn them and soften your no. And number 5 is being too motivational. Too motivational. Some expats here and some people managing Koreans, they're the motivational leaders. They believe, the action will take care of itself as long as we're motivated, right? As long as we're inspired. And for some people this works. In Korea, this does not work. Koreans will sit there. What's the point, right? Give me the practical steps. So in Korea, being motivational doesn't work at all. You got to give practical steps. Many expats, especially expat CEOs that I've seen, they got in a bit of trouble for this. Because the employees complain, well, this is nice, this is a great story, but what do we do now? Where's the plan? Where's the action? How are we going to move forward? Okay, so make sure you're practical, not just motivational. If you're both, that is okay. That's actually great. Yeah, but the practical side always must come first. So comment down below one time, what did you get out of this? And by the way, if you're interested in more Korean culture coaching, you can always contact me. Yeah, check out the link down below as well. That's another option also. Again, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done it yet, hit the subscribe button. And most importantly, I really look forward to seeing you for the next video.